Epstein with your morning flash update, and this is for Thursday, and we're at the 24th of February, 2022, 8:15 a.m. Let me start off by saying my I don't have the word condolence, my heartfelt sympathy for everything that is going on in the Ukraine. The full-scale invasion has taken place. It's nowhere near over. You're yet to see the monster cyber attacks that our intelligence thinks might be coming yet. That, if they wanted to, Russia could probably turn off the electricity throughout the country. I want to also do something and applaud, and I mean what I'm saying. This is not facetious, which sometimes I am. U.S. intelligence got this absolutely right on the head. Let's give them one. We're so quick to say, you got this wrong, you got that wrong, and they have been wrong. But this time they were right, and they weren't slightly right. Bullseye right. They got it. They called what was happening. They instructed the president on what to say. I was disappointed that President Biden hasn't come out yet to at least say to the American people he is on top of the situation. He's meeting with the G7, and he will have things to say later in the day. Brief, but I think he should have done that right away. All right, so what is this going to do? We should talk about that, and then we'll get to the day's data. Well, number one, it's setting inflation roaring. Why? Corn is up the limit. Wheat is up the limit. Remember we talked about, and I've given you the markets that I thought were going to be vulnerable here, because if there were an invasion, what are the exports of Russia? Crude oil, $7 higher. You're up to $1.04 in the April Brent. U.S. crude got over $100 a barrel. If there were ever a time for our president to change the U.S. energy policy, it's today. It's not tomorrow, the day after. Release some energy out of the strategic reserves, but at the same time, take off these crazy rules that are stopping us from being energy dependent. We have to be dependent again. We can't rely on Russia. Today, all over Bloomberg, they're talking how much the U.S. and some of the NATO countries spend each day on Russian goods. That's the aluminum, the copper, the platinum, everything we buy from them. To combined, $750 million a day. A day. Think of that one. It's every day. It's not Monday through Friday. You're looking today at the dollar sharply higher, and most currencies getting absolutely annihilated on this. Gold is up $50. This is a sell-off of 20. It was up 67. Silver almost to the $26 range. Copper market, don't know why copper's up as much as it was today. It's already sold off 10 cents off the high. Platinum market up 11, $200 higher an ounce in the palladium. Aluminum, another major export, up like $150. So you're starting to put these together, and this is going to give the Fed what? A headache. Is it inflation because of the war? Is it inflation that's going to hang around? Is it temporary? Does it stay? Will raising interest rates really curtail it? They have their hands full. This has changed the whole Fed equation, in my opinion. Now the question is, how long does Russia stay in the Ukraine? You realize it is the size of Texas. So we are not talking a little area. From the looks of it, I'm thinking they go for the whole country. I don't think they're going to let some of the smaller areas just say, they're not that well armed over there, we can let them go. They're going to take the whole thing. Now, what do they do with the whole thing matters. They're going to try to overthrow the government. I think that's an absolute given. How the army will fight? Well, the army doesn't stand a chance fighting a regular warfare with Russia. The air's gone already. Russia has knocked out all the air facilities. So now the question is, will they take over the airports so they have landing facilities in there to bring in other things? The missile barrages have begun. As I said, the cyber attacks have yet to come if they want to unleash them. The problem is, if they don't do it right, and it starts impacting, say, Poland, and Poland's right on the border, and you knock out the electricity in regions of Poland because of that, is that an attack on NATO? You attack one NATO member, you attack them all. The paratroopers already in Poland, that we have 5,000 of them there, they have moved to the border because the refugees are running out of the Ukraine. People didn't believe this. The Ukrainians did not believe their brothers, many of them, would come in and do this. They're doing it, my friends. The Russian people, well, they watched their stock market today took a 45% plunge. You heard me, 45%. The ruble is at the highest level ever against the dollar, so their currency's getting hurt. Putin had this planned out. This is what he expected, so we'll see where that goes. As for the day's news, sorry, I had to bring you up because I have been up all night. I have not slept now in 24 hours. In the fourth quarter, prelim GDP, good number, up 7%, chain weighted, a little better than expected, about where you're at on the PCE, about where you're at on the core PCE. So there's nothing to not like in that number. The Chicago Fed January National Activity Index, I can tell you, I live here, Chicago's humming. Business is really coming back in a neat way, and the mask mandate goes off in the city of Chicago on the 28th. That'll pick things up again. Today is the last meteorological, I got that word out right, a winter day. So we really are going to start entering the spring season, and things are going to boom again. Jobless claims down 17,000, a bit better than the 235 estimated. We're going to get today the EIA stockpile data at 9:30. The company that is sending Ukraine's natural gas said they are fully sending everything. They have not cut anything back. The sanctions from the G7 are going to come out today. So now the big question for you, for me, for everybody is, what are they going to be? We know that they're not going to hit, at least I don't expect they'll hit gas or energy, oil. I don't believe the SWIFT banking system will be involved, but everything else is on the table, including stopping the export of corn, wheat, platinum, palladium. You don't know what they're going to do. So be ready for it. It's going to be very coordinated, as I said. One other thing. You get a drop like this. Here's what I think is going to happen for those of you that are investors in the stock market. I said yesterday in my update, this is where you take out that shopping list and you say, I want to own XYZ. You might be Coca-Cola. It might be a Pepsi, Staples. It might be Apple at the $150 level. I can go on down the list. Today is the day that I would expect you do some nibbling. Not fully invest, nibbling. You don't know how far down it'll go, but these things have a way of turning on you like that. Now, the next step will be then you get a bounce. That does not mean you have bottomed out, okay? We have to see what interest rates are going to do, what the Fed does. I fully believe with all that's going on, the 50 basis point hike is off the market. I think the Fed has to be ultra conservative. The whole thing is changing right in front of us. Inflation's even worse. But we don't know about this sudden hit to the commodity market, the loss of potential commodities, what that's going to mean. I talk about all this and more every morning. This morning, I was recording probably around 5:20 a.m., telling my traders what I'm seeing in the marketplace. I went through the fundamentals with them, just the way I'm doing them with you. I'm giving them trade ideas if I have them. Today, it's one of those days I'd be careful. The Spider ETF guys, they're going to get from me on that video an awful lot to do this morning. So I cover that. On the weekends, I cover a weekend version with weekly charts, the longer term. What do you do on those? So it's getting you up and going, giving you our free apps so that you can keep up with what I'm doing. And yes, we send out a text message. If you're based in North America, typically, especially the United States, you're going to get when that comes out, a push notification and an email when I put everything out. I cover all this in extreme detail, not like we're overlaying here. Extreme detail, specific, do this, do that, here's the reason why, here's the chart pattern behind it. Doesn't mean you do it. It's a sounding board. And that's what I want to be. I'm bringing to you 50 some odd years of experience. There's a reason I, probably not your broker, was up all night last night watching markets, dealing with clients, dealing with situations. That's what you do. How do you get to it? Well, you go to our website. And in the word research, everything is there. Go take a look. I'm Ira Epstein. Have a great morning, or the best that you can out of it. It's going to be nasty in, 20 minutes or so. So be ready for the stock market. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good day.